Hello, everybody. It is the morning after here on the Between the Ears show. I'm Schuyler Callihan, and as we do every single day after the game, we're going to recap a little bit of what happened the night before and maybe a little peek ahead as to what's to come for West Virginia. So, West Virginia last night, winners 24-21 against TCU. And I've got to admit, I was wrong again. This team finds ways to win games, and it finds the way to do it ugly week after week after week. And again, I don't know how sustainable this stuff is. I don't know how sustainable it is to only run or to only pass for 142 yards. And in the previous 2 weeks, I don't even believe they hit 100 yards in the air. But nonetheless, this team is 4-1, folks. They're 4-1, 2-0 in Big 12 conference play. And when you look at the schedule ahead, which we'll go ahead and throw up here on the screen now, they're going to be favored in these next two games. They got to bye this week. And it's a much needed bye. Obviously, with the injuries to Trey Lathan, Aubrey Burks, and a few others, this is a much needed time for the bye. But you look at the schedule, they're going to be favored in these next two games more than likely against Houston on the road, and then when they come home to play Oklahoma State. And I don't want to get really too much further into the games that are after that, but I mean, you look, there's winnable games all over this thing. This is setting up to be a very weird season for West Virginia in the fact that this is a team that was picked 14th in the Big 12 conference prior to the start of the season. And you heard probably me and a whole lot of others say, if they can just get through that first month with their head above water, then they're going to have a chance to get bowl eligible. And that's kind of what the thinking was is, if this team becomes bowl eligible, that's probably enough to save Neil Brown's job and show that there's some progress being made with this program under his leadership. And I'm telling you, like, we're sitting here 5 games in, folks, and this thing is I mean, it's unique because I don't think I've ever seen anything like it. Where a team just struggles so mightily offensively, but finds ways to win games. I mean, they may be setting football back 50 years, but at least they're finding themselves on top of these games. I mean, you're talking since the Duquesne week, they have not given up more than 21 points, which is, again, the most they allowed coming last night against TCU. They've won these games 17-6, 20-13, and 24-21. This isn't your typical West Virginia football team. And if I were to tell you before the start of the season that against Pitt, they score 17, against Texas Tech, they score 20, and against TCU, they score 24, you're probably thinking they lose all 3 of those games, maybe win one of them. And a lot of that is because of how the defense played a year ago. Now, we all kind of expected the defense to take a little bit of a step here in 2023, but boy, have they ever taken a step here in 2023. Jordan Leslie is getting all the love in the world on social media right now, and as he rightfully should. That first half last night was atrocious defensively. I mean, it was really, really bad. Bad angles, poor pursuit, a lot of missed tackles, a lot of reaching, a lot of grabbing, not a whole lot of wrapping up. Just wasn't a good half of football. The good thing is, though, they went into the half, they made adjustments, they come out in the third quarter and just absolutely dominate TCU. They outgained the Horned Frogs 129-1. They got a single yard of offense in that third quarter. Jordan Leslie, I mean, I've said it before, he is one of the better defensive coordinators in the Big 12. Okay? Last year was an anomaly. They had some injuries. They are already lacking some depth. And now we're really about to see how good of a coach Jordan Leslie is when he's probably going to be out Trey Lathan and maybe Aubrey Burks. We're not really sure about his status as of the time of this taping, but they've got some injuries they're dealing with. But he caught a lot of heat last year for the way the defense performed, and everyone said that, they made the wrong decision about him a couple of years ago, and he's done nothing but prove people wrong. And I think that side of the ball, regardless, they've lost Aubrey Burks potentially. They lost Montre Miller for the season. They've lost Keyshawn Cobb for the season. They've lost Trey Lathan potentially for the season. I mean, that's some key injuries. Yet this defense plays good football. And a very important part of that game last night to me was how they overcame that adversity, not only once, but twice. You see your own brother get carted off the field twice. Aubrey Burks gets carted off in the first half, Lathan in the second half. And in both occasions, the defense stepped up and got a stop. That's a hard thing to do. It's a very, very difficult thing to do. I don't think people really, truly understand how difficult it is to kind of recenter your focus back toward the game after a serious injury like that happens to your teammate. And because one, you're feeling for your teammate, you feel bad for him. And secondly, you're almost, I wouldn't say you're playing hesitant, but the thoughts in your mind, like, oh no, what if that happens to me? And you start getting that thought creeping into your head. So it's a tough deal, but for his team or his defense to go back on the field, get a stop both times, that says a lot about that unit. Offensively, wasn't the best day for West Virginia, obviously, but I mean, the way this defense has played and the way the special teams unit has played, also, by the way, shout out to Jeff Kuntz, 2 blocked field goals, really did a good job. His team did in kickoff and punt coverage. But when you're playing that way on defense, special teams, you don't really have to do a whole lot on offense. But Garrett Greene led the way, rushing 80 yards, 2 touchdowns. CJ Donaldson, 22 carries, 61 yards and a touchdown. Jaheim White got a little bit of action, 5 carries on, and then 46 yards, averaging 9.2 yards a touch. So this is an offense. Again, it's at some point they're going to have to start pushing the ball down the field. They're going to have to start showing some kind of progress in the passing game. And I think they actually did last night. And here's why I'm going to say it's not time to necessarily panic with it yet. We saw that drive that Garrett put together where he hit Cole Taylor. Again, it was probably a bad throw more so, and it was a really damn good catch by Cole Taylor. He threw it behind him. Cole's coming across the field. He has to reach around and back behind the back of a TCU defender. He makes the catch. Tremendous catch by Cole Taylor. And we have talked about how these receivers, these tight ends, they have to start making plays. They're not making the routine plays, and they're sure as heck not making the contested catches. Last night, on that drive in particular, we saw that. Cole Taylor makes the tough grab. E.J. Horton, the Marshall transfers, had very limited snaps, comes in, makes a huge play, making a catch over the middle, knows he's going to take a pop, holds on to the football for the first down. Drive continues, and then Garrett Greene hits Hudson Clement for a touchdown, gets called back because he was down at the 5. But still, those 3 plays right there, at least, as Chris said last night on the postgame show, it puts something on tape for the defense to show, hey, there is something here that they're going to be able to potentially build off of this. But it's not just for the defense. Putting that stuff on tape also helps your own self out, because you can point to this and say, hey, guys, like, look, this can happen. This passing game can be successful. So I think there were some glimpses of it last night. And again, Garrett has not played a lot of football. He played the Penn State game. He played half of the Duquesne game. He played a couple of snaps in the Pitt game. And going into the night, that was it. He didn't play against Texas Tech. He didn't play 90% of the Pitt game, 95% of the Pitt game. And as we heard from Neil last night, they were going to roll with Nico Markio. That was the plan. He actually rolled his ankle Thursday. I believe they said Wednesday or Thursday in practice because Garrett wasn't quite 100% yet. He tells Garrett, go show me, go prove to me that you're ready to play. And he did. So to me, I mean, they could say he's 100%. And the way he moved around last night, being able to run, he may have got to 100% before the game, but he wasn't 100% the entire week. So now, like for me at least, you have to take that into consideration. He wasn't 100% throughout the entire week of practice, getting all those reps or whatever limited reps that he did have. And let's face it, he had limited reps because they were going to go with Nico. So, 10 to 21 for 142 yards passing. I mean, again, not the greatest, but considering the circumstances, you have to feel pretty good about Garrett Greene moving forward. Now you get a bye week. He's got a chance to recover fully from that ankle. He's going to have so much time to develop some more confidence and more chemistry with those receivers. And hopefully West Virginia can find some answers in that receiving room over the next 9 or so days. And then you also have the opportunity to get some of those offensive linemen healthy. So, I mean, again, he hasn't played a lot of football. It was his first game back. Even if he had the full reps, it was 100% all week, it was still probably going to be a little bit of a rusty outing. So I think for the most part, you like what you got out of Garrett Greene. CJ Donaldson, it's been a rough go for him. Last week or last night he averaged 2.8 yards a carry, 61 yards. Last week against Texas Tech, didn't run his best, 48 yards, 3.2 yards a carry. But he played well in the pick game. But these last two games have been a little concerning, I think, in terms of CJ Donaldson. It's almost like he's being almost a little too patient. I think he just needs to find the hole, make his cut, go, get downhill in a hurry, and use that 240 pounds and just really lean on that front and not worry so much about trying to make people miss, because I think that's what kind of got him in that play down at the goal line on 3rd and 4th down, more so on 3rd down, where it looked like he was going to score. And for whatever reason, he kind of turns back up into the middle of the defense and gets stuffed at the goal line. So I think, again, this could be a good time for CJ. This bye week to kind of regroup and regather himself and figure out what he needs to do to get back on track, because it's not been the CJ Donaldson we thought. And that's maybe even more impressive, is that this team's finding ways to win without CJ Donaldson at his best. So lastly, I'll close out with this. West Virginia is 4-1. They're 2-0 in the Big 12. Is it possible this team can make it to the Big 12 championship game? I mean, seriously, is it possible that this football team, again, the one that was picked to finish 14th in the Big 12, can they make the Big 12 championship game? I'm starting to find like all these questions that I had in my head about this team and how they're going to handle some parts of the schedule. And they're handling this, they're handling that. And last night before I went to bed, I put my Big 12 power rankings together. And I couldn't get myself to really put West Virginia inside the top 5 of the Big 12. I just couldn't do it. But then I'm starting to look at some of these other teams in the Big 12. Central Florida lost. They blew a 28 or 29-point lead. Kansas lost to Texas, who was just ahead, a spot or two of West Virginia. TCU was 3 spots ahead, and they beat them head-to-head. Folks, I have West Virginia as the 4th best team in this Big 12 conference. And if you know me, I'm very real with my stuff. I don't just do it for fluff. I'm going to be real with you. This is the 4th best team as of right now through 2 games of the Big 12. This is the 4th best team. They've proved it. They've earned it. So again, there's a lot of football left. There's 7 conference games left. Your favorite, again, in these next 2, more than likely, there's a chance you win these next 2. Something special can happen in Morgantown this year. And all of a sudden, Neil Brown goes from the hot seat to potentially the coach of the year and may already be on track for that. So that'll do it for me here today on Between the Ears. This has been the morning after. Be sure to hit subscribe, like, comment on YouTube at Mountaineers Now. You can follow us on X at Mountaineers Now, myself at Callihan_. And we've got a lot of stuff coming for you on the bye week. So just because the Mountaineers are off doesn't mean we are. We are going to still come back with all these shows throughout the week, both on In the Gun, Between the Ears. We're still going to have the Walkthrough Game Day show. Even though there's no game to preview, we will have a show previewing some of the games around the Big 12 this week and also kind of recapping these first 5 games of West Virginia. So action-packed week for us here on Mountaineers Now. Don't miss out on any of it. So thank you guys for watching. Thank you for tuning in all week as you did. And we'll see you back here in a couple of days. Take care.